KUU, the Tiny Inca Princess by Mariana Llanos, illustrated by Uldarico Sarmiento. In the time of the Incas lived a princess or ñusta, the size of a cup of maize. Her name was KUU, short for Chilicutu, which means cricket in the Quechua language. No one knew why KUU was so tiny. Her father, the Hatun Inca, wouldn't let her out of the palace. He thought she would be easy prey for a hungry condor. Her mother, the Koya, almost stepped on her several times. She decided KUU should be carried in a bag. I wish I wasn't so small, KUU complained from dawn to dusk, but no one seemed to care. One day, KUU's father summoned his royal council and family to his palace. He said, "Not a drop of rain has fallen for months. This drought is devastating our city. Our animals and plants are thirsty and weak, and soon we'll be too. We need help." The royal council gasped. "Our gods are the only ones who can help," he continued. "We shall give them with our best offering and hope they can hear our plea. Why don't we find them and ask them to give us back our water?" asked KUU from her bag, but no one seemed to hear her. "KUU," the Inca said, making everyone flinch, "you will be out of your bag. Maybe you can find us something small on the ground." KUU's heart jumped out in surprise. She beamed as she nodded. "I will find something special, father, you will see." But no one heard what she said because they were already busy at work. KUU climbed out of her bag and ran to keep up with the other women. "Don't touch the looms," cried KUU's sister at once. "But I want to create a beautiful design for Mother Earth," she explained. "You're too small. You'll get tangled in the yarn," said big sister Haley. "Just let us do the work, sweet little sister." KUU walked away, determined to find a way to help. "Don't touch the fire!" yelled the cook when KUU reached for the steamy clay pot. "I want to help make chicha," KUU explained. "You are too little. You will burn yourself with the hot liquid." "Just let us do the work, little bean," Mother Koya said with a sweet voice. "I don't want you to get hurt." "Don't touch that corn!" yelled the priest at the temple. "But I want to bring an offering too," explained KUU. "You are too tiny. The bowl is big and you will spill it." "But," she cried. "Just sit down, my little cricket. Let the priest do their job," said KUU's father. KUU stomped as she left the temple. "Why was I let out if no one lets me help?" cried KUU, kicking the dirt. She looked at her tiny hands and feet, frowning with disappointment. "I wish I was bigger and stronger and better." She looked back at the palace where people ran, made, and searched. She had an idea. "I'll bet I can do it. I'm going to find the gods and ask them to bring our water back. No one noticed when she tiptoed and carried away through a crack in the stone wall. She ran through the pampas around the city. With every step she took, the world around her seemed bigger and further away. After walking for hours, she found Apu, the spirit of the mountains, and from the yellow hillside she yelled, "Oh, Apu, I beg for help! We lost our water. Our city is drying like a withering flower. Our animals are licking the empty ditches, and our creeks are carrying nothing but dead leaves and dust. You are powerful. Help us get our water back." The enormous spirit opened his eyes and wailed, "How could I help? Don't you see my plants are dry and my soil is cracked? As much as I try, I can't make any water." Apu shut his eyes and huffed as steam poured out of his ears. His face turned purple, and then he let out a blast of breath that made KUU sway like a dandelion. "See? Useless. I'll have to find someone else to help," said KUU, straightening her hat. "My sister!" exclaimed Apu. "You will see her in the night sky from one of my tallest peaks. She might have a way to help you, but you better hurry. I feel the earth drying and shivering," rumbled the giant spirit. KUU dashed down toward the valley. Alone, a condor flew by, but KUU quickly covered herself with a dry branch. Soon it was night, and the animals started singing their song. KUU had never been away from home, but she gathered all her courage and climbed the tallest mountain. She saw Mama Kila shining in the sky, wrapped in a glittering blanket of fireflies. "Look here!" exclaimed the moon when she saw the tiny Nusta waving from the top of a boulder. "What is a minuscule girl doing out here so late?" "Okay, Mama Kila, I came this far to beg for help. We've lost our water. Our city is drying like withering flower. Our animals are licking at empty ditches, and our creeks are carrying nothing but dead leaves and dust. You're powerful. Help us get our water back." The pale moon stared at KUU and then let out a voice that sounded like a song. "I can surely sum up the ocean tides, but I cannot bring its water all the way to Cusco. But someone must help." "Tiny princess, go find my brother, the sun, as he rises. But do it quickly, for I see the crops dissolving in ashes." KUU dragged her tired feet down the mountain. She knew Inti, the sun, will come up from the east in the morning. She looked around and realized she didn't know where she was. Had she come from the north or the south? In the vast pasture, everything looked alike. "I'm sure no one has noticed that I'm gone," she thought as her eyes closed. A swift breeze awoke Inti, the most powerful of the Inca gods. He rose on the firmament, warning the tiny princess who slept on a pile of leaves. "Why is that young princess laying in the hard, dry soil?" Oh, mighty Inti! Kutu jumped to her feet. I came this far to ask for help. We've lost our water. Cusco is drying like a withering flower. Our animals are leaking at empty ditches, and our creeks are carrying nothing but dead leaves and dust. You are powerful. Help us get our water back. How do you think I could help? All I do is scorch the earth with my fiery arms. I've tried wringing the clouds as tightly as mighty God like me can do. Nothing, not a single drop of water, for the clouds are empty and very much waterless. What are we going to do then? Cried Kutu. Your only hope is that the legend is true. Kutu squinted. What legend? Said an old oracle that a tiny Nusta, the size of a cup of mice, will bring sweet water to flow on the face of the earth only after... Wait. I can't remember if she was bringing water or hot lava. The bright Inti frowned. You should go home. There's nothing else to do. But that's my final word. Below, the immense god floating in the sky. How am I supposed to go back home if I don't know where I am? Tears closed her eyes. Wild dogs wailed in the distance. Kutu beat her fingernails and covered herself with a branch. I'm not giving up. I am not. I will find a way to bring our water back, she decided. Then, a silvery light twinkled in the distance, slithering across the earth like a humongous snake. Kutu took a deep breath and marched toward it. Soon, the soil beneath her sandals felt soft. She touched the ground. It was damp. When she looked up, the roaring, shimmering mass was still sliding in her direction, and it was growing. Water! Yaku! Kutu yelled, clenching her hiding branch. She couldn't see anything. She struggled to keep her head out of the water as she drifted away in the wild current. Swim! Don't surrender, she heard a voice say. The water will bring you home. When she looked up, she saw Inti pointing his rays at her. Kutu wanted nothing more than to go home, so she kicked her legs as hard as she could and used her arms as paddles. Suddenly, the raging waters calmed and Kutu was able to swim. The river turned into a small channel. Around it, there were houses made out of stone and adobe, and green pastures where llamas ate grass. Kutu splashed to the shore and sprang to her feet. The smell of fresh mole tree felt so familiar. Kutu was home! But how? In front of Kutu, her mother and sisters sat on their knees, still and quiet as rocks. Tears gushed from their closed eyes and dripped down onto the earth. From there, a trickle traveled slowly until it grew bigger and bigger and formed a river. Mother? Sisters? You cried a river, yelled Kutu. Her mother opened her eyes. Chili Kutu! Kutu ran to hug her mother, just as her sisters opened their eyes and celebrated with tears of happiness. Kutu's father came running too, and both Hatun Inca and Koya held their tiny princess close to their hearts. "We thought we had lost you," the Inca cried. "I'm sorry I left. I just wanted to bring our water back," Kutu said with a flush on her cheeks. "You did it, tiny Nusta," the voice of Inti rumbled from the sky. "You dared to go where no one else did. I'll reward you by turning those bitter tears into fresh, clean water that'll never dry." Saying this, Inti hid behind a gray cloud and tickled it until it poured rain on the earth. "Kutu, you brought our water back. You're a mighty tiny princess," said a chorus of joyful voices. From that day on, the city of Cusco drank from the water of their new river. The pastures grew green and the animals grew strong. Never again was there a chore too big for Kutu. She no longer wished to be bigger and stronger and better, for she knew she already was. The